Many years ago, in the quiet village of Umuse, lived a family of 5 children, and one mother whom everyone called Mama Kemi. Not because she didn't have a name, but because her first son Emeka was the calmest boy the village had ever seen. Her husband Papa Kemi had died many years ago, leaving her to raise the children alone with a broom always in her hand. Although Emeka was the firstborn, and by tradition and arrangement he was supposed to be the head, the leader, and the father figure to his siblings, the second-born snatched that position from him. The second-born was a girl named Njozi, and from the day she started talking, Njozi carried leadership on her head, like a tray of bananas. She didn't ask for permission, neither did she wait for election. She just declared herself ruler, and surprisingly, the whole household adjusted because she didn't even give them the chance to argue. Njozi was born with a permanent frown on her face, and she always acted as if she was the one who caught the umbilical cords of her siblings. From a young age she wore seriousness like a rapper and tied authority on her waist like waist beads. She could shout louder than a megaphone, and whenever she opened her mouth to command, her younger siblings, even their dog, would adjust and sit properly. Kalichi, Kioma, and Adeus, the 3 younger ones, feared Ngozi more than thunder, more than lightning, and more than their mother's broom. If Kioma left a cup on the table, Ngozi would appear from nowhere and shout, "So you want cockroaches to start doing naming ceremony in my father's house? Wash that cup now." If Kalichi didn't wake up early to sweep the compound, Ngozi would wake him up with a cold bucket of water by 5:30 a.m., saying, "Since you don't want to sweep, maybe you will start your swimming career on that bed." Every day she would line her younger siblings up and give them assignments. And if you didn't do yours before the cock crowed 3 times, you would receive knocks, flogging, or both. The funny part was that she flogged with style. She would first talk, then shake her head, and then say, "Did I not warn you?" before flogging you, as if it was a national duty. And when the younger ones cried and shouted, "You are not my mother," oh, she would flog them harder and say, "And that is why you need double discipline. I am training you so that you will thank me one day." However, the house was not the only place she ruled like a local government chairman. She also carried her wahala to school. If she came out of her class during break time and saw Kalichi or Ades laughing or playing with their friends instead of revising their multiplication tables, she would grab them by the ears and drag them to the back of the school, where she would whisper threats that could make a grown man confess to crimes he didn't commit. Her siblings, classmates, even formed a special alert system, as they already understood the code. Anytime they saw Ngozi coming from a distance, they would shout, "Whistle, whistle, Ngozi Day, come!" Oh, it meant emergency evacuation. And everybody would scatter like cockroaches when light comes on. The elders loved her, but her siblings saw her as a terror, and they were just counting days, praying, fasting, and even sowing seeds in church for the day she would get married and leave the house. Kalichi once told Kioma, "Even if she marries a spirit and enters the underworld, let her go, it is better." Their mother didn't even help matters at all. She was the official cheerleader of Ngiozi's madness. Anytime Ngiozi shouted on any of them, Mama Kemi would bounce and proudly say, "Ah, this girl is better than 10 sons. She's the real pillar of this house. Look at how she's helping me raise this family. You people should respect her." And Ngozi would stand there smiling as if she had just won an election. Meanwhile, behind her were 3 angry siblings, blinking SOS with their eyes. As for Imi, the actual firstborn, that one was the most confusing of all. He had the body of a man but the submission of a lamb. He loved peace more than power. And whenever the younger ones ran to report Ngozi's oppression to him, Emeka would sigh and say, "Ngozi means well, just do as she says." Kalichi once asked him, "Emeka, are you sure you are our elder brother, or you were just adopted before Ngozi?" But Emeka just laughed and shook his head like an elder council member. He never challenged her, and that was how Ngozi became the Osama bin Laden of the house. As such, the house became a mini military barracks where Ngozi ruled. Emeka backed her, Mama Kemi hailed her, and the 3 younger ones suffered from premium physical and emotional bullying, until one day when a rumor began to fly. Adaeze had sneaked out to visit her friend Amara when she heard the unexpected news. Amara tapped her shoulders. "Hey, you must have heard now." Ades frowned. "Heard what?" Amara laughed. "Stop pretending now. You know your Ngiozi is my elder sister's friend. I overheard them talking about marriage. One man wants to marry Ngozi." Adese's ears stood as she heard marry Ngozi. Without waiting to confirm the news, She ran off to meet Kioma and Kalaki. Immediately she reached their room. She shouted, "Ngozi has agreed to marry." Kioma dropped her phone and started dancing like a Zanto, while Kalaki jumped up and screamed, freedom is near." So, it was finally happening. The General Overseer of Discipline Incorporated would be finally leaving them. Their joy knew no bounds. Adaze wrote the date on the wall with chalk while Kalichi brought a sachet of water and shared it among them like wine. If only they knew that the real drama had not even started, because even though the rumor that Ngozi was going to get married came from a legit source, weeks passed and then months went by, but still no wedding date came out. By now, the younger ones were gradually losing hope, and their temporary joy began to fade like cheap foundation under the sun. Adaze even told Kalichi one evening, "I think Ngozi will die in this house with us. She has refused to go. Maybe she chased the man away." And, truly, Ngozi showed no sign of leaving. Instead, she doubled her walk. She now held morning meetings like a CEO. Every 9 a.m. she would call everybody and say, "Line up. Roll call. Let me see who swept, who fetched water, and who thinks this house is a hotel." One evening, Kalichi came home late from football practice. He was tired. His eyes were red and there was sweat on his shirt as evidence. Unfortunately for him, Ngozi met him at the door with her arms folded, and her face was tighter than old fufu. "Where are you coming from by this time?" she asked. "From training," Kalichi replied. "You're training to be what? A husband that cannot stay at home, and you want to enter this house? Kneel down first." Kalichi looked at her and grumbled, "Ngozi, I'm not a small boy again." "Oh," Ngozi laughed. "Oh, I heard you clearly. Well, since you are not a small boy again, let me use your legs for something important, instead of wasting it on football. Without wasting time, she sent him to go and fetch water from the stream that same night. Even the moon pitied him that day. Meanwhile, Kioma had it worse. She forgot to remove her slippers from the parlor. One afternoon, Ngozi came in, saw it, and shouted, "Who put this condemned tire in my sitting room?" Before she could answer, she was already beating her with her signature belt. "I said it. This house needs military government." As for Ad, the only crime she committed that day was chewing gum and snapping her fingers like TikTok girls. Ngozi saw her and shouted, "Is it me you are snapping at? You think you are Cardi B? Come on, go and wash those clothes at the backyard, and if I see lipstick on your lips again, you will eat it." At this point their suffering was consistent. Even their neighbors knew about their ordeal. One old man told Kioma this, "Your sister is not ordinary. In my time, girls like her used to chase evil spirits from shrines." However, in spite of her madness, the calm, peaceful, and ever-supportive Emeka still supported her. Whenever Kioma tried to rebel and said, "I'm not doing again, let her flog me, I don't care," Emeka would drag her aside and say, "Just endure. She means well. Don't let our family scatter because of small quarrel." One day, a new suitor came to see Ngozi. He was tall, fair, and had a shiny head. The younger ones peeped from the kitchen with high hopes. "Maybe this one will marry her," Kalichi whispered. "Please let her not chase him away." Adaze prayed, but they were quickly disappointed because in their very presence, Ngozi grilled the man like roasted corn. "Where do you work? How much do you earn? Do you believe in gender roles? How often? Do you bathe? Do you like yam or rice?" The man was sweating like a goat in hump. At a point he stood up and said, "Thank you for your time. I will call you." But he never called, and the siblings sank back into their suffering. Kioma even composed a song, "Ngozi, our commander, we suffer under your banner. No one day enter your chapter. This house Dan turned to disaster." Still, Ngozi continued her daily military routines and made them submit daily reports. "Kalichi, how many clothes did you wash today?" "4. "Why not 5? "Oh yeah, go and add 1. Go and rinse it again." Adaze sighed, "God, I begged." Even Pharaoh that pursued the Israelites rested. And so the cycle continued. More suitors came, more suitors fled, more discipline came, and more tears flowed until something strange happened. A stranger named Ifini came into the village. He was tall and dark with strong shoulders, and he carried a bag like a man who had come to stay. Nobody knew who sent him or where he came from, but his first stop was the church compound, where he greeted the catechists with a firm handshake and introduced himself as the new youth coordinator sent from the main parish in town. As he walked through the village, his handsome smile attracted attention, and within 2 days everyone had started calling him the gentle lion. The market women liked him because he always greeted them politely. And the young girls liked him for reasons they couldn't say out loud. And Josie, And Josie noticed him immediately. It happened one evening during choir practice. And Josie, who was the acting choir mistress by force, because she fought the real choir mistress and took the position, that evening she was leading a hymn when Iphany walked in with his Bible. Their eyes met and she was thrown off balance for a minute before she remembered herself and shouted soprano. You people are singing like tired mosquitoes. Let's take it again. However, that night Adaze noticed Ngozi acting strange. Ngozi, why are you singing love songs and combing your hair like that? Adaze asked. Am I combing my hair with your teeth? Ngozi shouted, but the redness on her cheeks didn't lie. Ngozi was blushing. From that day Iphany began to appear everywhere Ngozi went. Or maybe she was the one going out more often now. If she went to buy fish, Iphany would walk by. If she was in the church compound, he would greet her on his way to the chapel. One day, he even helped her carry her market bag. And the entire village saw how Ngozi giggled like a JSS2 girl who just received gala and lakasera mama. Kemi was the first to speak up. This fine boy. I notice he has been looking at you like okra soup looks at pounded yam. What is happening? Ngozi brushed it off and said, Mama, it's just church work. We are doing the work of God. But the truth was that Ngozi was falling, and she was falling hard. Kioma, Kalachi and Adaze watched carefully, and their hearts were filled with mixed emotions. Could this be it? Could God be the Moses who would rescue them? And then one evening Ngozi finally confessed to their mother. Mama, Iphany has asked for my hand. He says he wants to meet the family officially. Mama Kemi nearly fell off her seat. Hey Chi, you want to marry Ngozi? You want to leave us? Mama, you want me to stay and die in your house? That night Adaze entered the room, dancing. Galala Ngozi is leaving. Oh, let the celebration begin. Kioma immediately composed another song. Freedom Day, come like Christmas rise. Go my guy, you very wise. Carry her go, no look twice. But Kalachi didn't celebrate yet. Let's wait though, until she leaves first, until we see her bags at the door. Because he knew that until Ngozi actually left the compound with her food chest and her bags, anything could still happen. Fortunately, this time around it was happening for real. Iphany wasted no time at all, and the wedding date was fixed. Iphany's family came for the list, and luckily there was no much argument. Everyone began to count down. The whole of Umyo's village shook with the news, and Ngozi, the Iron Lady, was finally getting married. The villagers celebrated with joy and relief. One man even told his wife, if Ngozi can find husband, then anybody can. There is hope in this life. Inside the family compound, the atmosphere was festive. Mama Kemi had already gone to buy her wrapper, and she was making up the cooking list, as if she was preparing for a coronation. Adaze volunteered to wash all the curtains in the house without being asked. Kalichi polished his shoes until they could reflect sunlight, and Kioma offered to slaughter the goats for the traditional rites, even though she usually fainted at the sight of blood. But as the big day drew near, Ngozi's behavior started to change. One day, Adaze caught her sitting alone under the mango tree, staring at the sky like someone seeking answers. Ngozi, what is wrong? You look like Nipa just took your joy. Nothing, Ngozi said flatly. Ngozi, I hope it is not cold feet. Or is it that you are afraid to finally leave us? Don't worry. Oh, we will survive, even though we'll miss you. But it will be selfish of us to hold you back. Ngozi forced a smile and shook her head. But later that night she cornered Emeka behind the kitchen. Emeka, do you think Iphany is a good man? Emeka frowned. Why do you ask? I don't know. It is like something is not clicking. I feel like maybe I am forcing it. Emeka looked at her long and hard. Then he smiled and said, Ngozi, you have been forcing everybody since we were born. Let one man force you small too. You'll be fine. That made Ngozi laugh, and she slapped his back playfully. You, this boy, your mouth is now sharp because I am leaving. Abeg no be me talk so. So the preparations continued. Iphany's family brought yam, palm oil, crates of malt, and dry fish that still had the eyes. The bride price was settled, and the compound was decorated with balloons, plantain leaves, and fine plastic chairs. The night before the wedding, the younger ones threw a secret celebration. Kioma exclaimed, This is our own Bachelor of Freedom party. Kalichi added, We need to soak Gari in peace, I beg. Adaze danced in front of them. She's leaving tomorrow. Oh God, it is happening. Then the wedding day came. The sun rose very early that day, but the younger siblings woke up earlier. They didn't need anybody to remind them to wake up. The compound was full. Women tied their best wrappers and powdered their faces until they looked like puff. Before noon, Ifani arrived in style looking like a respectable man, and Njosi came out in her wine-colored lace with head tie that could shade a whole family. She smelled sweetly, but her eyes were still all over her younger siblings. The traditional rites went smoothly. Emeka blessed the union as the father of the house, and Mama Kemi shed tears of joy. Kioma and Kaluchi served drinks diligently, and Adaze danced more than the bride. And then, just like that, Njosi left. Her bags were carried out. She entered Ifanye's car and waved at the family. As the car zoomed off, Kioma burst into another song. Ah, no. No, she can never turn back. Oh no, no, it's already too late. Oh no, no, it won't make sense. Oh no. No, where will she come back to? No. They all sang and danced until the car disappeared, and then they screamed freedom. They jumped, hugged themselves, and rolled on the ground. That night nobody slept early. Kalichi brought out the sound system and blasted music. Adaze cooked noodles for everyone. Kioma composed more songs, and even Emeka laughed more than usual. The days that followed after Ngozi left for her matrimonial home were golden days of bliss. There was no queue, no shouting, and no roll call. Adaze went to see her boyfriend and came back late in the night. She even painted her nails, danced in the mirror, and wore short skirts around the house without fear. Kioma brought two friends. Holman took over the family Bluetooth speaker, playing loud music like a resident DJ, while Kalichi woke up late every day and stretched like a giraffe. Emeka sat quietly on his chair and watched them. Enjoy, children. It is your honeymoon from bondage. For 3 full days the family of Emeka enjoyed uninterrupted bliss. It was like a great evil had been lifted off the household and a great wind of freedom swept through the compound and settled over them like the sweet aroma of freshly fried akara. But just as peace settled like dew, Wahala began to rise like a stubborn boil. On the 4th day, as the cock crowed and Mama Kemi was still snoring under her wrapper, a knock was heard at the gate. It wasn't a gentle knock, nah. It was a calculated, strategic, and confident knock. Bomb, pause, and then bomb. Again, Kioma, who had just woken up and still had dried saliva on her cheek, dragged her feet to the door, yawning. Who be that this early morning? The moment she opened it, her mouth froze, her eyes popped, and her bladder almost betrayed her. There she was, the general commander of the family, Ngozi, standing tall, wearing a serious Ankara gown and a serious expression. She clutched her handbag like a deputy governor returning to inspect the local government area. There was no smile or emotion on her face, just fire in her eyeballs. "Good morning, sir," she said, and shoved her aside. Kioma staggered. Ngozi. You. You are back. What? Why? How? You. Didn't you marry? Her teeth clattered against each other, but Ngozi ignored her and walked straight in. Mama Kemi came out from her room with her wrapper tied loosely, but her eyes widened the minute she saw Ngozi. Ngozi, what happened? Did he beat you? Did he send you away? Is it spiritual attack? Should we pour libation? Ngozi waved her hand dismissively. No, I just came to check on everybody. I want to make sure you are all doing well. Her mother frowned. By 6:45 a.m. on a Thursday morning, are we hospital patients? Ngozi ignored her and scanned the living room like a general. Her eyes landed on Kalichi, who was still dozing on the chair. She noticed Kioma's rumpled clothes and suspiciously red eyes, but it was Adi's grand entrance that completed the madness. Adi strolled in through the back with her heels in her hand. Her wig had shifted. Her makeup was half smeared, but her eyes were still shining like torchlight. She froze when she saw the figure in the living room. She wasn't expecting any visitor, especially not this visitor. Their eyes locked and Ngozi stood up slowly from the chair, as if she was in an African magic movie. Aha! Big madame. See who is coming back from where she slept. Oh, so you now sleep out because I am not around. Wonderful. Adaze swallowed hard. I was at. Ngozi raised her hand. Don't even lie, Emeka. So this is what you allow now. Your younger sister leaves the house and returns like a thief in the night, and you say nothing. Emeka opened his mouth to reply, but before the words could drop, Ngozi turned back to Adaze. You are grounded. 1 week. No phone, no stepping out, no music. Give me your phone now. Adais stomped her feet on the ground like a toddler and cried, "Ah, Josie, I am not a small girl again. I am an adult." The next thing the house heard was whoa. A slap landed on Adai's face and the house went silent. Even the lizard on the wall stopped doing push-ups. Adais handed over the phone without further discussion, and tears started falling from her eyes, not from pain, but from insult. How can somebody get married on Saturday and become an illegal warden by Thursday? She muttered as she stormed into her room, and Josie turned to the rest. Now listen, and listen good. If I catch anybody playing music in my father's house, I will break the speaker and break that person's head. This house is in disarray. Who is sweeping? Who is cooking? Why are these buckets not washed? Kioma, go and carry water now. Oh, Sheik Don Kambako, Kioma muttered, dragging her feet. Kalichi grumbled, maybe she quarreled with Ifani. Let us wait and see. While Emeka sat on his chair rubbing his head slowly. His mind was doing mathematics. Why was she here? Was it permanent, or was it just a short reign of terror? Later that afternoon, Ngozi stood in front of the house holding her small Bible and quoting scriptures while supervising chores like a prison officer. Mama Kemi went to meet Emeka. My son, you see this, your sister. She's a very strong woman. I am proud of her. At least she will help us put these stubborn children in order. Emeka smiled but said nothing. That night, nobody was missing at dinner time, and they all slept early. Well, not from tiredness but from fear. It seemed Josie was back, and peace was once again a prisoner in their house. Unfortunately, none of them knew how long this sentence would last. Why do you think Josie came back? Do you think her visit is permanent or temporary? Will they ever be free from Josie's cage? If yes, who will be their Messiah? Stay tuned to find out in the next part.